After receiving the highest rainfall in 16 years just 48 hours ago for November, Chennai is bracing for more heavy rain. A red alert has been issued for the capital of Tamil Nadu, and the Met Department is predicting very heavy rainfall in the coastal regions over the next few hours. Even as Chennai and Tamil Nadu prepare for an impending deluge, the city continues to reel under the aftermath of record rainfall. Several areas are waterlogged, schools are shut for the next 2 days, and prices of essential commodities are soaring. Akshaya Nath and Pramod Madhav with our lead story tonight.
The worst rain since the 2015 deluge. A city battling rain pain, and now Chennai is bracing for what could be even more trouble. With a red alert for heavy rain for Wednesday and Thursday, the rain-soaked city now remains on edge.
Unfortunately, for the last 3 days, residents have been telling us that this has been the situation here. And now we're seeing that the IMD has warned that there will be severe rainfall in the next coming days. So it is a matter of huge concern. We're seeing that a lot of work is being put on the ground by the corporation as well.
The state of Tamil Nadu has already received 46% excess rain compared to the average, leaving at least 5 dead and thousands displaced across the state. But the worst may not be over. With a low-pressure area and a cyclonic circulation in the South Bay of Bengal, a red alert has been sounded for the delta districts of Tamil Nadu, including Nagapattinam, Cuddalore, for the next 2 days.
Another at least 24 hours there is going to be very heavy rains, not only in Chennai but other parts, northern parts of Tamil Nadu, coastal Tamil Nadu especially. So Chennai has to face that, but yes, we have tried our best to be better, to be prepared.
As far as Chennai is concerned, we are expecting extremely heavy rainfall tomorrow. That means about more than 20 centimeters rainfall in Chennai and the surrounding districts.
Chief Minister M.K. Stalin visited several rain-hit areas across the city, his convoy wading through the waterlogged metropolis. India Today tracked the rain preparedness from Chennai's flood war room, which was visited by the Chief Minister himself.
You can see how the numbers are going off the hook every minute. There are agents addressing every complaint, and so far from the 6th of November till the 8th of November, around 8,089 complaints were received, and all these complaints are being addressed one after the other, is what officials have told us.
India Today also saw hectic preparations underway in the flood control room meant for the rest of the state.
It is being predicted that this, by 11th, the intensity should increase. Because of that, Cuddalore to Chennai, good amount of rainfall will be received. And that's the reason officials are on the ground. Officials claim that we are requesting the people to be careful. They're buy and stack up essential items, and not just that, they are requesting people not to venture out for 1 day, that is from today to tomorrow afternoon, unnecessarily, and take all precautions.
With rain and waterlogging came soaring vegetable prices, pinching the common Chennaiite.
What we are seeing here in most vegetable and fruit shops is a rise in price. And most of the vendors have been telling us that the reason for the price hike is because of the bad weather, lack of availability of goods coming because of the rains, and also increase in diesel prices.
Will Chennai once again go through the flood nightmare that plagued it 7 years ago? The next 48 hours are totally crucial. With Akshaya Nath and Pramod Madhav in Chennai, Bureau Report, India Today.
Pramod Madhav joins us live tonight from T Nagar, one of the busiest shopping areas of Chennai. With us from Madambakam is Akshaya Nath. This is a prominent residential location in South Chennai. Akshaya, I come to you first. We've seen the weather forecast for the next 48 hours suggesting that there could be trouble in Chennai and in the coastal districts of Tamil Nadu. What's happening on the ground? What preparations has the administration made?
Well, Rahul, rains have started to lash the southern part of Chennai once again, and what we're seeing here is areas which were inundated by water still continue to lurk in the same way. You can see the place that I'm standing. Even now there's ankle deep water, and what we're expecting in the next couple of hours is around 15 to 20 centimeters rainfall, which means the residences which I am currently standing at will once again be fully or at least partially inundated. You can see the house that my camera person Daniel is currently showing you has been raised a certain level. This was a measure that was taken to ensure that their house will not be inundated, but unfortunately, Rahul, once again the same old pitiful sight is seen here. Also the drainage through which the water has to go past is also completely full and overflowing. There is a motor pump which is being situated right in the entrance of the street, and that too is being used to pump out the water from this area. But unfortunately, for the last 3 days, water was not completely drained out, and the next 24 to 36 hours are completely a nightmare for the residents of Madambakam and areas like this, which is still continuing to be inundated, Rahul. And what we can tell you is that the situation is only getting grim because Chennai has received more than 46% of the general rainfall which is received in the state and the city of Chennai, which means most of the tanks, the reservoirs are all completely full, and that is also a cause of concern and is the reason why inundation is also happening. The soil moisture level is also high, so the next 24 to 36 hours is extremely critical for the residents of Chennai and all the people along the coastal regions of Tamil Nadu. It needs to be wait and watch what is going to happen. But after speaking to the corporation authorities, they have been saying that all the necessary measures have been put into place. Relief centers have been set up, and also helpline numbers are going to be active 24/7, which means in case of emergency, people can call. And also people in the low-lying areas have been advised to use the shelter or move to safer zones. So these are the precautionary measures which have been advised, and also people have been requested to stock up on vegetables, groceries and essential items for the next 24 to 36 hours.
I just want to show our viewers the latest satellite images which show the intensity of the cloud cover around Chennai and just off the coast of Chennai. All these areas, Nagapattinam upwards, expected to see heavy rainfall over the next 48 hours. Pramod Madhav is with us at T Nagar. Pramod, give our viewers a sense of what's going to happen over the next 2 days. I'm told that the district authorities have said that schools should be shut. People shouldn't really be venturing out more than they need to. Give us a sense of what's happening on the ground.
Certainly, Rahul. In the state of Tamil Nadu, 7 districts, red alert has been given for today and tomorrow, and Chennai is one of them. In fact, we are currently at T Nagar, where you could see that the rainwater is stagnated at various locations. This is one of the locations which comes under the Smart City project, and here you see this much rainwater. And the fact is that 2 days ago we went through this blocked lane and we showed to our viewers that water is stagnated at that point. It looks like that water, the officials are trying to remove it and move it through other stormwater drainage pipelines in this part, and that's the reason this below the bridge it's almost like an island with water surrounded up to knee level in all other directions. Commuters are finding it extremely difficult to actually travel through this place, and just like you mentioned, 2 days off for schools and colleges has been provided in this in Chennai, and officials, we have time and again asked them to find out if there is a possibility for the repetition of 2015-like condition where Chennai faced rainfall, flood due to rainfall, and the officials claim there is no such things, and they have given us the word, claiming that this time reservoirs have already been opened up, excess water has already been released, and there's no working to worry. In fact, you could see over there, one of the vehicle is actually stuck in a pothole, and many such, in this part, the Smart City, such an issue is occurring currently as we speak.
Thanks, Pramod and Akshay. Come back to you, and please stay safe along with your crews. Is politics and apathy responsible for the mess that Chennai finds itself in? As the city continues to grapple with the aftermath of record rainfall and prepares for the worst, politicians seem to be busy bickering. Chief Minister Stalin has blamed the previous AIADMK government for the current mess, while the Madras High Court has pulled up the Chennai civic body for not being prepared for the rains. It has warned of strict action if the situation is not brought under control this time.
A city crippled by floods. Civic mismanagement exposed. The administration pulled up by the High Court. Now the political blame game. The ruling DMK and the unseated AIADMK are at each other's throats as citizens suffer again. Chief Minister Stalin blamed the previous EPS government for misusing the smart city funds from the centre, particularly taking aim at former Minister SP Velumani.
ஸ்மார்ட் சிட்டியில் கூட ஒதுக்கி இருக்கிறோம் அப்படிலாம் சொன்னாங்க. ஆனால் என்ன வேலை நடந்துச்சுன்னு தெரியல. இதெல்லாம் முடிஞ்சதுக்கு பிறகு அது ஒரே விசாரணை நிச்சயமாக சிம்பரம்பாக்கம் மாதிரி கூட வந்திருக்கோம்னு நினச்சோம். ஆனால் நல்ல வேலை நான் முன்னெச்சரிக்கையாக நாங்கள் நடவடிக்கை எடுத்ததுனால நாங்கள் அதை ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு 24 மணி நேரமும் அதை வாட்ச் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். ஒன்றும் எந்த இது வந்தாலும் சமாளிக்கிறதுக்கு.
The AIADMK was quick to hit back and defend Velumani.
They are imagining that would have taken place in Edappadi government also. It is not at all a fact. The cleanest chief minister who has carried out things with full perfection is only Edappadi Palanichami's government. Velumani's achievements are being enviously seen by the DMK. That is why false cases against Velumani.
The Greater Chennai Corporation refused to be drawn into the political fight over the mess in the city.
Not like to comment about anything about political content, but it is the endeavour of the local bodies everywhere to ensure that stormwater drains and infrastructure keeps on getting added.
On Tuesday, the Madras High Court had pulled up the Greater Chennai Corporation, saying it had failed to take measures to tackle flooding. The High Court said the civic body had learnt no lesson from the devastating 2015 floods. Madras High Court Chief Justice Sanjeev Banerjee said it is such a pity that half the year the city is starved of water and for the rest of the year people are dying in water. This cannot be the condition of a leading state in the country.
We have just taken over, I have personally taken over just some time back only. Previous years, whatever all the infrastructure projects have been taken up, we will inform the Honorable Court.
Year after year, Chennai is witnessing the same story. Governments change, but the misery of people remains the same.
The Madras High Court has warned authorities that it will take severe action if things are not set right. In fact, it has also directed the Department of Vigilance and Anti-Corruption to probe and submit a report within 10 days into claims of irregularities in giving civic contracts. With videos, Divyan, Pramod Madhav for India Today.
Joining me now as Chennai and Tamil Nadu brace for heavy rainfall over the next 48 hours. For citizen and political voices, A. Sarvanan, spokesperson of the DMK, Ganpati Ramachandran, chairperson of the IIT Madras Entrepreneurs Forum, GP Sharma is the president of SkyMet, the weather service, Jayaram Venkatesan is the convener of the Arapur Ayakam, Carrie Edwards is an entertainer, actor, voiceover artist, Karun Raman is a fashion choreographer. I want to go across first to GP Sharma because you've got all these Met Department warnings, and I'm very suspicious of Met Department warnings because whenever they up the ante so much and they've got everybody worried, typically very rarely do things tend to go wrong. What can you tell us on the basis of your best reading of the current weather forecast is likely to happen over the next 48 hours in the coastal districts of Tamil Nadu?
Yes, Rahul, starting from now, lasting till tomorrow. Tomorrow, at least in the morning hours, it's a critical. Okay, what we fear is a very strong system. It's to me it looks like already a depression very close to the coast, just off the coast, peripherals of the system already making approach. That's the coastline, starting from Chennai and going down right across Puducherry, Kodalur and Karaikal up to Nagapattinam and even beyond that up to Tuticorin or so. and it's going to be very heavy. We have seen a deluge that was on 6th. I think if not more, equal. But to me, it appears it could be more than that also. Because looking at the cloud configuration, which I see in the satellite imagery and the radar also at the moment, it's closing in, and it's much intense, and it should start pouring anytime. I will say maybe after another 2-3 hours or so, and throughout the night it's going to pour. My fear is it's going to be a deluge to the extent of even about maybe 200 millimeter of rainfall. Is not impossible. It is going to be there. Last time we had about 215. It's almost equal or could be more than that. In these type of system, exact thing you can't predict, but then it's going to be extremely heavy. That goes beyond doubt. Right from Chennai downward, so more of it possibly will be maybe Puducherry, Karaikal, but Chennai is not out of it. There is going to be extremely heavy rainfall, even including Chennai. I expect the relief from this, that's only by tomorrow afternoon. I think it's going to ease out in the sense it's going to become possibly light or moderate. But then, till then, we keep our fingers crossed, hope everything is safe or so, and we have taken possibly enough measures for safeguarding people, the property. But then it's going to be definitely a very intense event coming up. Yes.
Very intense event. 200 plus mm of rainfall is what you're anticipating. I want to go across to the citizen representatives. You know, we've got Ganpati Ramachandran, Jayaram Venkatesan. First to Ganpati, your concerns at this moment. You know, what do you think could go wrong? What are you making of the preparations that have been made by the state government and the district local authorities? And then we'll go across to the DMK representative and try and understand what the government's doing. Let's go with Ganpati first.
Well, thank you and good evening to all. I think years of being around has taught me one thing: nothing works better than hands-on supervision, whether an industry or an IT company or manufacturing enterprise or whatever, and nothing works as very well as empowerment. And Tamil Nadu has always been in the front and center of crisis management. And this time, apart from normal emergency measures that governments take, they've also used technology to a great extent, evidenced by the fact that the Chief Minister himself went and visited the early warning system that was put up with the World Bank funding. And I think this is something that you expect at the leadership level. And this has been visible in this crisis from the start. Leadership at the political level and leadership at the bureaucratic level have been on the roads ever since this has happened. Let me annotate it by saying that floods are not alien to the world. I still recall floods like happening in New York and Washington. But what is important is how do you react immediately after that? Relief has to be almost instant. And today, water is being drained at a feverish pitch, but the quantum of rain is such, and as Mr. Sharma just said, no city can handle that amount of rain. Floods are bound to happen. But some of the reasons these happen are, we all know, due to encroachments, poor desilting, ill-planned urban development, and to a great extent, lack of civic sense too. I've personally seen people drop rubble inside the stormwater drainage. And of course, what do you do with that? You know, it's a failure of governance at a primary level. London, Washington have been built on swamps, as we have also done it here. But only thing is, the difference is they've stopped it and they've begun to take corrective measures. Unfortunately, in our country, many a time, we don't look beyond the crises. We need to be far-sighted. Decisions have to be taken, but we look only at band-aid solutions. Fix it now and forget. And I think we need to come out of that time frame. But one good thing is, as we speak, rainwater is being released from the reservoirs and it's being monitored very critically, something that we might have missed in the past. And I think we need to revisit some of the decisions we have taken. And I honestly believe we can't blame one set of people for this. People went about building in open areas. I myself, when I went to my village, I've seen an old uncle of mine say that, look, this land was empty, so I put a recreation center. But that was a place where the water body was, water aquifer was. So, I mean, it all came out of lack of complete environment knowledge. We didn't have domain expertise, subject matter expertise to handhold us through the initial path of our growth. And I think since we got added up more and more, and this is where we are now. So, but therefore, I'm brave enough to say it was a governance failure. not by one set of people, but by everybody, where citizens, sadly, have contributed in equal measure. So therefore, I would stick my neck out and say, don't blame anyone. But having said that, it's never too late. Let's start mitigating the present crisis. The future will thank us for some decisions we take today. It's a long, long haul, and I think it should catch the eyes of a fast-acting administration, which the present one happily is. Therefore, I'm confident that when this crisis gets over, and it's also a prayer, that the next few days or perhaps a week, the government will get down to the business of planning and setting it right.
So, Jairam Venkatesan, what according to you are the immediate trigger points which must be acted on so that we don't wait for the next deluge, that to ensure that there are better systems of easing water out of urban and civic areas are actually operationalized at a time when there isn't a crisis rather than when we're anticipating 200 mm of rainfall?
Right. See, there are, we have not really learned much lessons from 2015 is what we are seeing now. And at least we should get prepared ourselves before the next deluge, as you say. And some of the things that we need to really focus on is make sure is water body management. Today there are 4 or 5 simple things that the government has time and again failed. Number one, the high courts and Supreme Courts have time and again said that do not reclassify water bodies for other purposes, and the state does not have the right to do so. But even after 2015, the governments have continued to reclassify water bodies for other purposes. Number two, we need to see accountability. It's not about blame game, it is about accountability. Unless you make people accountable for the faults that they do, things are not going to change. And therefore, whoever registers such land, whoever does corruption in these stormwater drains, we are seeing crores and crores of money that is being spent. We are seeing stormwater drains in T Nagar, but the water is not getting drained out. So therefore, there is a very severe lapse in terms of planning of these stormwater drains, execution of these stormwater drains, and so on. So therefore, accountability also needs to be fixed. Only then the other officials will know that people, if they do corruption with the kind of schemes with respect to water management, people will be punished. Just like everybody loves a good drought, their corrupt officials also loves a good flood. So there will be thousands and thousands of crores that will be flowing in after this deluge as well. And what you are going to do with these thousands of crores is the real question. Are we going to have these water management systems where for every water body they need to mark a boundary, they need to make sure the encroachments are cleared within, they need to make sure the garbages are properly segregated and only a small portion of it goes to the landfill. They need to make sure it is desilted. They need to make sure that the inlet and outlet channels are cleared. None of this seems to have happened up to the mark after 2015. And that is why today we are seeing all these failures. And therefore, the new government that has taken up, they need to change the direction completely. They need to set accountability in, and they need to do this.
Yeah. We saw, Saravanan, from your government an attempt to try and deflect blame to previous AIADMK government, but the fact is that the Madras High Court seemed categorical in where it said the responsibility lay, and it lies on your door. It's your responsibility. You're elected. Whatever happens tonight is happening on your watch, and your party and your governments are fully responsible for it.
Yeah. See, Rahul, we are a party who are not going to shirk from our responsibility. This is clearly seen from the way the Chief Minister is on the ground. Not only the Chief Minister, the entire bureaucracy, the ministers, the DMK MPs, MLAs, all of them are on the ground, providing relief and succor to the people who are despondent over the rains. The blame, it's not blame. We are just pointing out how. See, this becomes very significant because the moot timeline becomes 2015. So until then, nobody was bothered about the floods or deluge or anything. They thought Chennai was sufficient. Whatever the water bodies, whatever the drains, stormwater drains, it was enough to evacuate the water that has been there. But 2015 proved it wrong. So everything starts after 2015. 5,000 crores have been spent from 2015 on stormwater drains by the previous government. And I think it is the duty of the government present now to point it out. Where did this 5,000 crores go? And never in the history of Tamil Nadu, that such a huge sums have been spent on just the stormwater drains alone. So we want results. When the entire thing has been spent by the previous government and we have taken over in the last 5 months. So it doesn't mean that we are going to avoid responsibility. See, when this government has taken over, what we could do, what this government could do from June, from last 3 months, we have done that. And the corporation commissioner was always on the lookout for the stormwater drains. He inspected all the stormwater drains, desilted the river mouths so that there is free water flow. This is what we have done. This is what we could do. Any government could do within this 3-month period. And we did that. And that was not enough because of the amount of the rainfall. So what could have prevented this? Definitely a well-managed stormwater drain system could have prevented this. But that was not put in place by the previous government. That is why the blame. See, the blame also started only when the ADMK started questioning that it is the DMK which is not had made proper precautions. We have done everything. We have done all the precautions. What we could do, we have done. And we are willing to be with the people. Today, every day, our last 4 or 5 days, the Chief Minister is on the ground, along with the entire bureaucracy and everybody.
Carrie Edwards, are you sensing urgency and action from the district authorities and the state government as Saravanan is claiming, or do you think that we're just waiting for all this rain to lash coastal Tamil Nadu and then we'll be ruining what happened later?
Well, I think for starters, I find it very, very rare that I say this, but I actually agree with someone from a political party, and I kind of do agree with Saravanan. I mean, there is only so much that could have been done in the last months. And of course, you know, the ultimate problem really here, I feel, is political continuance. Which is to say that when one political party starts a project, very often if they lose the next election, that project is completely shelved. And if, well, to use an example, there was a flyover that was built on the outskirts of Chennai. The AIA-DMK started it, they lost the election, so the flyover stopped. The DMK was in power for 2 cycles. So for 10 years, that flyover just sat half done, impeding traffic for 10 years until the AIA-DMK got control of the state again and finished the flyover. Now, I find that to be deplorable simply because millions of people were affected on a daily basis because, one political party doesn't want to finish the work that a previous political party started, and vice versa. And this has been going on for several projects over the years. But I do agree with Saravanan in that there has been a greater response this time. If you look at the numbers are slightly better this time around. But it does feel like we've not really made the kind of progress that we should have made over the last 6 or 7 years, given that, the first flood that I can really remember was about 2004. 2004 was a mad flood. But nothing happened between 2004 and 2015. So why would anyone expect that between 2015 and 2021 there's going to be this remarkable...
Karun Raman, is there a sense of trepidation, a sense of concern about what may happen over the next several hours? Can you describe as best as you can the mood in Chennai and amongst your friends and social circles at this moment?
Well, Rahul, I think the need of the hour right now is to think positive. I was seeing a logo, I was seeing a sign saying that will Chennai sink or will Chennai swim? I think Chennai will raise above the odds. It's high time to think positive because there's nothing that we've not faced in our lives. Chennai has been through so much. And this is obviously a very, very bad sector of this scenario of the rainfall, which has been non-stop. And thankfully to the government, they've done a fabulous job where there is no water clogging happening too much. Like there's a lot of water being taken out. There are a lot of rescue teams been there, especially in the social circuit. All of us, especially from the LGBTQ community, from my social circuit friends, and everybody are out there giving food. They're trying to do as much as shelter they can. My mother, who's 65 plus, is out with a Rotary crowd trying to help as much as she can. And I think the sense of concern right now is to not involve too much of politics and to look into what should be done next. And that is to take care of the drainage problem and take care of the water clogging and to actually stand united and get this done as a city and as a nation together.
So I'm going to thank all our guests. I'm going to wish all our viewers in Chennai and across coastal Tamil Nadu the best. I hope that some of the dire predictions we heard from SkyMet and the Met Department don't come out to be true, that the damage and the quantum of rainfall is much lesser than is being anticipated. But given what the satellite pictures are showing, it looks pretty bad, because what's being said is, and it can actually be seen if you see the satellite pictures. So from Chennai to Nagapattinam and the entire coastal belt in the middle, it does seem is bracing for very heavy rainfall over the next several hours. So our reporters on the ground, Pramod, Akshay, will be tracking the story for you. Stay well, stay safe. I'm slipping into a break. We'll have more for you when we come back. On the other side of a quick break, there's been a horrific shootout in wrestler Sushil Kumar's academy. The academy has been set ablaze by irate villagers. A wrestler and her brother are dead. The mother is critical. Details coming up on the other side. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. There's been a horrific shootout at wrestler Sushil Kumar's academy at Sonipat, where a female wrestler and her 18-year-old brother have been shot dead. The wrestler, Nisha Dahiya's mother, has also been shot. She's critical at this time, since this wrestler's name was the same as that of national wrestling champion Nisha Dahiya. It was first thought that it was the under-23 champion who'd been shot at. The national level wrestler then put out a video on Instagram to say that she's safe and alive. She's saying that she is in Gonda in Uttar Pradesh for a training camp. Meanwhile, in Sonipat, angry villagers have set the wrestling academy on fire.
हेलो, मेरा नाम निशा है और मैं सीनियर नेशनल खेलने आई हूँ गोंडा में, और मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ, और ये फेक न्यूज़ है, मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ। हेलो, मेरा नाम निशा है और मैं सीनियर नेशनल खेलने आई हूँ गोंडा में, और मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ, और ये फेक न्यूज़ है, मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ। हेलो, मेरा नाम निशा है।
दो लोग जो हलालपुर गांव के भाई और बहन थे, और अभी तक फॉर्मल स्टेटमेंट हमारे पास कोई नहीं आई है, लेकिन प्राइमा फेसाई लग रहा है कि जो लड़की थी तकरीबन 20 साल उम्र जिसकी बताई जा रही है, वो यहाँ पर प्रैक्टिस वगैरह करने के लिए आती थी, और उसकी और उसके ब्रदर की गोली मार के हत्या करी गई है। यहाँ के जो कोच था उसके और उसके कुछ अन्य साथियों के द्वारा। उनकी मदर के भी इंजरीज़ हैं जो पीजीआई रोहतक में उपचाराधीन है, तो हमारी टीम्स लगी हुई हैं।
Manjeet Saigal joins us live. Manjeet, what is it with wrestlers and these kind of shootouts? We had one of our top, most decorated shooters arrested for murder. Now a wrestling academy on fire. Give us details of what led to this shooting.
Well, Rahul, this incident took place in Halalpur village around 1:30 today when Nisha was practicing there. She was shot dead by her coach Pawan. Along with his accomplice Sachin. They are on the run after this incident, but Nisha's cousin has told us that after killing Nisha, the coach called her mother and asked her to take her home. When her mother came to the academy, she was also attacked with the bullets. Meanwhile, her brother Suraj also came. He tried to escape, but they chased him and shot him dead also. So both brother and sister died on the spot. Her mother is struggling in PGI Rohtak. Police officials say that the accused will be arrested soon. More details will emerge after their arrest. But the accused have also taken with them the CCTV cameras which were installed inside the academy. They are on the run. Meanwhile, police is saying that teams have been already formed and they will be arrested soon. Rahul.
All right. For the time being, Manjeet Saigal, thank you very much. I want to show our viewers what Nisha Dahiya told my colleague Vikrant Gupta when we spoke to her a short while before now.
बिल्कुल जी, मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ। मैं नेशनल में आई हूँ, यहाँ पे गांधीनगर में हुआ ना नेशनल, मैं यहाँ पे आई हूँ। मेरे पास एकदम से कॉल आने लगे ऐसे इंस्टाग्राम पे, मतलब पता नहीं मेरा पोस्टर डाल दिया है। मुझे तो पता नहीं इस बारे में कुछ भी, तो घर वालों को एकदम से घर वाले परेशान हो गए थे कि तो मैंने बात की से, तो बिल्कुल डर गए थे, लेकिन मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ।
और ये जो सोनीपत से खबर आई थी, क्या वो किसी और की होगी आपको लगता है?
नहीं, मुझे इस बारे में कुछ पता नहीं है।
Let's shift gears now to something that will cheer up most of our viewers, because India's first woman-led unicorn Nykaa made a blockbuster debut on Dalal Street today. And moments after the markets opened, Nykaa's market cap hit the 1 lakh crore rupee mark, making its founder and chief executive Falguni Nayar India's wealthiest self-made billionaire. And just imagine the story. A 50-plus-year-old woman at the peak of her corporate game gives up her fancy plush corporate job to take a plunge into the uncertain world of startups and comes out shining like a queen.
For the customary countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo!
She's the new billionaire queen of India. E-commerce giant Nykaa saw a bumper opening on Dalal Street today, and within 5 minutes, founder and CEO Falguni Nayar has emerged as India's richest self-made woman billionaire. 58-year-old Falguni, who was born and brought up in Mumbai, is now among one of the world's wealthiest and has joined only 6 other women billionaires in India.
What a journey Nykaa has been. Going right back to 2012, I was in an established career which would often see me help entrepreneurs be in the exact position I am in today. After taking a giant leap of faith, I left my long career in investment banking to build a platform which at the time saw few believers and many naysayers. A beauty destination for all, powered by technology, content, community, and just pure passion.
The story of this unicorn started about a decade ago. Falguni Nayar left her 18-year-long job as an investment banker at Kotak Mahindra Bank in 2012. Her dream was to be an entrepreneur. This dream led to the creation of a beauty and wellness website, Nykaa. Back then, the focus of Nykaa was to provide beauty products to women and men in India online because Indians mostly relied on smaller neighborhood stores to buy beauty products. With the launch of Nykaa, cosmetics and skincare products were just a phone tap away, and the range of options increased drastically with the introduction of international brands. And after 10 years, Nykaa has grown into the country's leading beauty e-tailer. If we talk about investors, Bollywood actor Katrina Kaif and Alia Bhatt invested an undisclosed amount in the platform through a secondary transaction last year. Apart from heading Nykaa, Falguni Nayar, who is an IIM Ahmedabad alumna, is currently on board of Aviva Insurance, Dabur India, and is also an independent director on the Tata Motors board. Nykaa's market capitalization, meanwhile, has already matched industry giants such as Britannia, Godrej and Indigo, and with its listing, Nykaa's valuation has reached nearly $13 billion. A dream fulfilled by Falguni Nayar in just 9 years. A huge inspiration for every hopeful businessman and entrepreneur out there. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
These are the real heroes of New India. Self-made billionaire giving up her corporate job to take the plunge. Listen to the Nykaa journey. We will have Adwaita, Falguni's daughter, and Falguni Nayar with us on the Business Today show with Abha Baqaya at 10:30 p.m. tonight. So do catch that fascinating journey, terrific interview, 10:30 p.m. tonight on the Business Today show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Chennai, stay safe. I'll see you again. Joining me now is Chennai and Tamil Nadu brace for heavy rainfall over the next 48 hours. For citizen and political voices, A. Sarvanan, spokesperson of the DMK, Ganpati Ramachandran, chairperson of the IIT Madras Entrepreneurs Forum, GP Sharma is the president of SkyMet. The Weather Service Jayaram Venkatesan is the convener of the Arapur Ayakam. Carrie Edwards is an entertainer, actor, voiceover artist. Karun Raman is a fashion choreographer. I want to go across first to GP Sharma because you've got all these Met Department warnings, and I'm very suspicious of Met Department warnings because whenever they up the ante so much and they've got everybody worried, typically very rarely do things tend to go wrong. What can you tell us on the basis of your best reading of the current weather forecast is likely to happen over the next 48 hours in the coastal districts of Tamil Nadu?
Yes, Rahul, starting from now, lasting till tomorrow. Tomorrow, at least in the morning hours, it's a critical. Okay, what we fear is a very strong system. It's to me it looks like already a depression very close to the coast, just off the coast, peripherals of the system already making approach. That's the coastline, starting from Chennai and going down right across Puducherry, Cuddalore and Karaikal up to Nagapattinam and even beyond that up to Tuticorin or so. And it's going to be very heavy. We have seen a deluge that was on 6th. I think if not more, equal. But to me, it appears it could be more than that also. Because looking at the cloud configuration, which I see in the satellite imagery and the radar also at the moment, it's closing in, and it's much intense. And it should start pouring anytime, I will say, maybe after another 2-3 hours or so, and throughout the night it's going to pour. My fear is it's going to be a deluge to the extent of even about maybe 200 millimeter of rainfall is not impossible. It is going to be there. Last time we had about 215. It's almost equal or could be more than that. In these type of system, exact thing you can't predict, but then it's going to be extremely heavy. That goes beyond doubt, right from Chennai downward. So more of it possibly will be maybe Puducherry, Karaikal, but Chennai is not out of it. There is going to be extremely heavy rainfall, even including Chennai. I expect the relief from this, that's only by tomorrow afternoon. I think it's going to ease out in the sense it's going to become possibly light or moderate. But then, till then, we keep our fingers crossed, hope everything is safe or so, and we have taken possibly enough measures for safeguarding people, the property. But then it's going to be definitely a very intense event coming up. Yes.
Very intense event. 200 plus mm of rainfall is what you're anticipating.